I just thought I'd do a little video to discuss 2020, really. And to be honest, it's one of them things that you could say to 2020, just go, because it's been a terrible year, really, hasn't it? I mean, the COVID situation, not being able to go out, and feel like you're a prisoner in a bloody own home, really, don't you? Because you can't really go anywhere, although some people have disobeyed the rules. But yeah, like I said, so I think of some negatives, but then finish on some positives, really. And the negatives is obviously like people in government who set the rules that disobeyed them have had a £40,000 wage increase. Now, what's that all about? Mr. Cummings, you should have been goings and gone long before now. You shouldn't even be working. Then there was that lady who went up to Scotland knowing that she'd got it, and she wasn't really punished as much as such. So, and so when you've got people like that in Parliament telling you what to do and then completely doing the opposite themselves, there's no wonder people are disobeying the rules, because they think, well, if they're not going to obey, then why should I? So anyway, that's partly with that one. And you've got obviously Boris starting off not really knowing what he was doing to start with, because he didn't start stuff in time, because he cancelled loads of COVID meetings because of own personal reasons, which I think is totally wrong. At the end of the day, he should have put his own reasons aside, his own personal things aside, because he's in charge of the country. He's responsible for people's lives, and he's not making the decisions has made it worse for everybody in the long run. I mean, look at New Zealand. From the start, they had less than 10 deaths, and now they're clear, totally clear. So everybody knows, everybody's fine. Why couldn't they have done that here? Partly because people haven't been obeying the rules. Because, like I've said before, they need to be strong leadership, and he's not a strong leader. And then the people that's, making the rules up, the Cummings fella, what were he? Just an absolute joke. The things with London as well, people all in London saying they've gone from tier 2 to tier 4. Well, if they weren't so stupid in first place and all stood together without wearing face masks outside, they might say, oh, we're outside, don't matter. Well, of course it bloody matters. Because if you weren't doing stuff like that and the virus wasn't spreading as fast as it is, you wouldn't have gone up to tier 4. So then now, some of them are coming up here. We don't want the up here, you should stay down there. And I think what he should have done is, when he announced that they were into tier 4, he should have said, right, immediately, nobody is to go anywhere outside of tier 4. They should have stayed where they were. But no, they haven't done. They've all disappeared, or they're all wandering up north. And so because they're all wandering up north, it's kind of going to infect us then. We were getting the ratings lower, or not, not as bad as the infections that they were getting in London and areas like that. But if they're going to come up here, they're going to infect everybody else, aren't they? Which is ridiculous. Anyhow, I'm going to go back into the beginning, though. I mean, I was very poorly at the beginning with COVID anyway. I had it for... So I'm about 3-4 days, but I was really badly with it. Luckily I didn't have to go into hospital, but it was literally, I'd say maybe I took a couple of animal coffee like that, and then and I was just terrible. Maybe taking 2 or 3 steps, and I was getting out of breath. It was shocking. It was really, really bad, and I felt really poorly as well. But then from the flip side of that, what I then did is I thought, well, what can I do if we can't go out or go anywhere? And I had an idea of, you might have seen some videos what I've done before. One of them was a volcano fruit machine I used to play, and somebody did it on the emulator called the MFME, which is multiple fruit machine emulator, designed by somebody known as Wizard, but unfortunately he passed away a few weeks ago, which was very, very sad, because he'd built it up from pretty much a basic fruit machine emulator to being what it is today, which is an absolutely amazing piece of programming that you can do. And I learned to do designs, just basically trial and error, and he helped me with a lot of the things at the beginning as well. And I didn't realise it was him, you see, that was the person that created it, was helping me with the early stages of my learning of how to update the graphics and things. And it started off being the layout that somebody had done. When you play the game, there's kind of a part where the middle part used to turn red when you got what they call red sky at night, which meant you were guaranteed the jackpot, and it played this different music. I think it's something Run DMC, and it was just a little bit of part of a tune that they did, part of a song, and it was really good. But it didn't change the colour when it stayed the same colour, and the graphics weren't very good of it, the layout. So I decided to see if there was any way or how these things worked. So from the very beginning, I started looking at the the bulbs, the layouts, and how they worked, and how, because they have basically an on and an off, like a bulb would have an on and off. But what they do on the full machine emulator is say that the light on would have a separate brighter image, and you could then have a mask bulb to make it look like a bulb. Now, I didn't find that out till quite a bit later on, or understand how it worked properly. So what I did was I worked on this thing, had a look at it, thought to myself, well, there's two colours there. There's one normal one, and then there's one that's got a bit of red on it. What's that for? And they were both the same image. So I thought, well, if I change that one to the other thing. So then I played the game so far, and then got to the point where it was the unlimited, the unguaranteed jackpot, and it changed the colour. I thought, So then it all started from there. And then I downloaded an image that was somebody had done, but it was kind of sideways on. So then I had to try and rotate it. So like, instead of it being like, wedging the angle like that, I had to try and get it sort of straight on. It was at a slant angle as well, so you had to then try and change it around. So it's quite a lot of fiddling about, and I used a program called GIMP to do that, which was quite good. And I've now got to the point where my latest one is this one. I'll put it there. And I have to say that it started off, that wasn't done in 3D, the bottom part. I'll put it back on. This bit here, probably let me see it. That bit there, it was just a straight thing, because it was taken head on. If you imagine looking right down at a thing like that, it was just flat. So I used a program called GIMP, which is a graphical image manipulation program, what it stands for. And it's a free program that's really, really good. It's very similar to Photoshop, but it's totally free, and I absolutely love it. Sometimes it kind of maybe locks up, but then I don't know if it's down to the limitation of my laptop that I'm using at the moment, because I'm using my old one, because the newer one that I bought, an MSI one, has problems with the hinge, and the hinge kind of part of there's a piece of metal that sticks up, and that's broke. And the person that I bought it off said that he never had any issues with it, but funnily enough, the plastic front bezel thing on the front of the laptop came off really easily. And he'd said one or two little things that didn't really ring true. So I wasn't entirely happy about that. So I'm having to taking it to a computer place to have it repaired. And that's going to cost me a little bit more money. But then again, I didn't pay. I'm glad I didn't pay the full price that he was originally asking for it. Because if I had done, I would have been really even more annoyed than I was when the thing broke. But by the by, that's another story. So all in all, it's been quite a for everybody, especially people that's lost loved ones through COVID, and the one thing that gets me as well is that they're saying that they've died because of COVID, but they might not have done. They might have got symptoms of COVID, but how do they know they've died because of it? If they've got, say, cancer or something like that, how do they know it's not the cancer that's killed them? And they're saying that the COVID can kill it. I think they're just doing it to make some numbers up. That's just my personal opinion. Could be totally wrong. But it's such a sad time to lose people at this time of year, because grandma died sort of 2 or 3 months before the Christmas quite a few years ago, and then my father died just after the New Year. So it's not it's not a pleasant time as such. I mean, we've got children, so it's easy for them and everything. So we try and put it to the back of your mind, but it's always there, and you always know that you're always going to miss loved ones and everything else. You see. So I'd just like to finish off with basically saying, let's hope that next year, if we can hopefully get this COVID situation kicked in the bud and beaten, which I don't think it's going to be done for at least 2 or 3 months anyway, but let's hope we do, and we'll get back to normal as soon as we can, and stay safe, everybody, and hopefully we have a lovely Christmas and a happy New Year, and let's stay safe, take care, and God bless to all of you. Best wishes. Bye bye.